Hi, I'm Damien Leist with Parallel North from Lake Charlotte News. I got Jesse on the program. She's going to be bringing you down a little bit of what it is to be a foster parent for pets, a little bit of the rescuing, and what it's like to be involved in it and all the other stuff. Jess, thanks for coming on the program. Oh, it's cool. I'm really happy that you came on because I have Scott on here all the time, and we always are talking about what we're going to do and how we're going to get pets out there, and concerned about where they go, what they're doing when they're out there, and how they're being taken care of. And then, of course, that always generates questions, like what is all detailed and involved in it. And that's why I wanted you to come on and give a take from you've been doing this a long time, right?
Yes, several years.
Several years. How many pets have you done this with?
Oh my gosh, as far as foster or temporary home, bridging type situations, off and on for probably at least 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
At least.
A little practice at it, huh?
Yeah. The last year or so, maybe working more closely with the Charlotte Area Humane Society and some of their specific animals that aren't in good enough health or mental health to be in a kennel situation, animals who need extra care, around the clock type of care, animals who aren't getting adopted and need a different living situation.
They've been up there a while.
Been up there for too long, and they're displaying not the best behaviors. Things that change a lot when you take them out of the kennel.
Right, and then you are just kind of holding them until they get adopted by someone.
I do. I keep them until they get adopted.
Okay, and that works out pretty well for you. Have you got any?
For me, it does. I've had animals my whole entire life. And my kids are great with animals. It just works into my lifestyle. It's what we do in my house.
Right.
But animals, some take longer than others.
Right. And that's kind of what I was wanting to kind of touch on a little bit is, you go and you bring one of these pets home who have been in the shelter a long time. Does it take a little while to get used to being with you, or do they kind of just be so happy to be out? Or
it depends on the animal. A lot of times when an animal's brought into the shelter, there's no background information. Or there might be a very traumatic event like the 15-year-old dog I adopted last year. He was thrown out of a truck. He had been obviously malnourished for quite some time and left to fend for himself in the wintertime. And so you don't know. They knew that, but a lot of animals come in, you don't know their background. You don't know if there's trauma.
Right. They
can't tell you. A lot of their, then they're in this shelter. They're in this situation that's far from ideal for anybody. There's dogs barking all night. There's animals sick. There's people coming and going. There's phones. At night it's cold and dark. It's lonely. There's not, a caretaker there. It's better than being on the street, it's better than being in a kill shelter, but it's not the ideal situation. So some animals come out and it freaks them out. Yeah. They don't know how to deal, they don't know who you are, they don't know what's going to happen to them. Some of them will shut down, some will act out, and some will be fine. Okay,
and that's kind of what we're kind of here about today, is to tell people who are not familiar with this, or maybe might be interested in fostering one of the animals up at the shelter, which we would really like for somebody to do so, but to understand that it might not be, as smooth as you think it is, picking up the animal that day and then, hey, I got an instant pet, it's leash trained, it's, yard trained, potty trained, good guy trained. It might not be.
More often than not, it's not.
More often than not, it's not.
It's not, and you have to think about what you're willing to deal with. If you're not willing to deal with a dog who's not leash trained, the kennel staff's going to know enough to say, that dog's not leash trained, maybe it's not a good situation for you.
So what's your suggestion to somebody who does just see this video today and say, hey, I think I want to adopt a pet or foster a pet?
I would suggest, I'm certainly available to talk to Scott, the kennel staff at Charlotte Area Humane Society. I would suggest, having a really good conversation with somebody and really think about what you're willing to deal with, what you're willing to do, the time, the money, the mental, emotional commitment to that animal, because for an animal to be adopted out and then, oh my God, it got into my refrigerator, I had a dog who broke into my fridge for years.
Well, I guess I can't blame him for wanting to go in the fridge.
But you know, there's always going to be something. You're going to have a day where you lose your patience. You're going to think you can't do it. So you need to set yourself up and be realistic to what you're willing to deal with.
Right.
And if you're willing, you say, okay, you know, like me, I'll pretty much deal with anything. You have to be willing to roll with that. Take a deep breath, walk away, you know, engage some of the resources that are out there for help.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not going to be a totally smooth thing. It's
right.
not, it never is.
But it'll get there. It can get there.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, some animals are instant.
Yeah.
My horse took me almost a year and a half.
Okay.
You know, it just depends on the animal.
Right. Now, do you have any, you know, like turnabout stories, like a dog that was, or a rescue that was kind of rough in the beginning, kind of was good in the middle, and then turned out to be okay? Or you got any good, bad, and uglies? Or
well, I have Denali, the dog I took this spring. He had been at the shelter about 6 months.
Okay.
American Staffordshire, mixed. I don't know the situation. Oh, he was given to the shelter because a young mother took him with a baby and was not monitoring that baby and dog on the floor alone and found him humping her son.
okay.
Well, she decided that was too much. Now, if that were me, never ever leave a child unattended, number one. I mean, number two, there are different ways to go about it, but he ended up in the shelter. He'd been there, I want to say about 6 months, and was kennel aggressive, not great on his leash. Not a lot of people wanted to walk him because he was just such a pain.
Okay.
Just go, 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 go. Well, I spent probably 2 or 3 weekends coming in and spending time with him, and then finally I was in a position where I could take him as a foster.
Okay.
We had issues.
We had issues.
They sent me with an air horn just in case I had to break something up. You know,
An air horn. I like that. That's funny.
I had to use it one time because I do have my own dogs, cats, children,
To get his
things
attention,
like that.
you know,
Yeah,
just
to get well, not only necessarily him, but my male, who was not the most welcoming dog in the world.
Right, right. You're right. To bringing another pet in with other
Yeah.
pets, you know, so many variables that you people need to consider before they jump into this. And
well, and you know, they're just like we are. You throw me in a room with you, I might not like you. We might not get along.
most people don't like me anyway, so
We might not get along at all, but you know what? Maybe we have a drink and we talk about things for 4 hours and we're good to go.
cool.
You know, they've got to have their tangle, and you know, it's really up to the foster, you know, adults to set the parameters to teach that good behavior. You know, and as far as teaching, the best thing to do is to reinforce the positive and divert from the negative.
Okay.
You don't want to punish. You don't know, again, what the animal's been through.
Right.
They may not always take that negative reinforcement and link it to the behavior itself.
Right.
But they're going to take the positive reinforcement and they're going to do everything they can to get it.
And that's where you were saying, you know, through the shelter and, you know, out there, that you are willing to kind of, you know, be a little bit of a sounding board or reach out, and you're willing to help out, and like kind of almost like a little sponsor, if you will. Somebody wants to get a pet or having some hard times, and you can touch base with you, reach out to you.
Absolutely.
And you'd be willing to kind of give them a little guidance or an attaboy, some encouragement.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Or
Okay.
even, you know, spend a half hour. I mean, I've had, you know, the hardest animals are the most rewarding animals, I think, at least for me. But it can take a long time.
Yeah.
It can take a long time. And again, you know, not having a lot of background on a lot of these pets that come in, it's a guessing game for everybody.
Now, have you had fostered or helped a pet and they got adopted?
Yes,
Okay.
that dog I was talking about, actually, I had him for about a month.
Okay.
I started taking him out in Boyne City with his Adopt Me vest on.
Nice.
I had a lot of shop owners.
That's cool.
Yep, a lot of shop owners, you know, helped me promote him, started talking about him. He got out on social media. He was known in Boyne City. And within 30 days, within about a month, he had a fantastic home step up.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're all about here, is to, you know, take these dogs or the cats too, and give them an opportunity to get out of the, you know, what I call jail up there. You know, it's
Right.
not that they're on any form of their own, but to give them a little comfort and maybe transition them into somebody,
So they have a little bit of familiar socializing. So when they do go to their forever home, they've got a couple of steps ahead of the game.
Well,
and that angle.
And there's people who know, okay, so he might be a total jerk in this kennel, but guess what? In a home with other animals and kids and people, he's a totally different dog.
Well, sure. I mean, everybody's different compared to their surroundings or what they're going through and everything. I mean, that's definitely not uncommon to hear. I wouldn't think that would apply to any living form of a being.
No, and I've heard too, just in my life and doing this, well, so-and-so said this animal was, just great with other animals and great on a walk, but it's just a nightmare. Well, that animal's transitioning. It's in a new place. It's not going to come to your house and just say, okay, I'm home, great, let's do this.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do, but it's, in my experience, that's rare. So having an animal in a home situation, a foster situation, you get to know that pet, you can help better promote it, you can help search for the type of home it's going to need, and then really increase that success rate of a forever home.
Nice. And that's, I mean, is there anything else you want to mention to anybody out there who's considering maybe doing this, or anything about yourself and about people reaching back to you on this?
I mean, anybody's welcome to reach out. Well, Scott, the shelter staff have my contact information. They are free to give it out. Damien, you also are certainly welcome to give it out.
Cool.
You just have to expect the unexpected.
Okay, I like that. Expect the unexpected.
Gotta be
plan for the worst, hope for the best, type all that stuff.
Plan for the worst, hope for the best. Know it's
Cool.
gonna probably be worse sometimes than you ever imagine. Like the dog that busted into my refrigerator.
Right.
Stole a 25-pound holiday turkey out of the fridge once. I mean, I could go on for hours about this dog, and I almost couldn't do it at that point in time. And I hung on that one more day, like you and I have been talking about.
Yeah, what difference a day makes in everybody's life, good or bad.
Take a deep breath, walk away, and look at it from a fresh perspective. Or, bring in some help, call for help. There are people out there who want to see everybody succeed with their animals.
Yeah, I mean, when we put this stuff up, I mean, it gets a tremendous amount of, likes and views and happy. So, I mean, I know there's people out there who are on the positive side of this.
Oh, absolutely. But really, just patience, understanding, even though sometimes it's really, really hard. I've had animals charge at me, kick at me, bite at me, but you've got to really just step back. And, one thing too with the foster program and with adopting, you're taking an animal and you don't know that animal doesn't know you.
Yeah. Okay.
But even though there might be some, any sort of bad behavior, unwanted behavior, take the little positives.
Yeah.
They sit when you ask.
Know that it's a process, not an instant gratification.
Well, it's a process, and really what you want to do again is redirect the negative. Don't ever focus on that negative. Get one tiny little positive out of it. Praise the heck out of that animal, and walk away. And end it on a good note. And then that's building that positive relationship, because the second you're frustrated, tired, cranky, ready to yell, snap, cry, the animal knows it. It's going to get all jacked up. It sees that energy. So really, find a way. If it's a pat on the head, good boy, good girl, you walk away until you're ready to do it again. That's ending on a positive note.
Now, who's running the care program up at the shelter there?
The foster care?
Yeah.
Karen is running the care program, and Kim Elbro helps her out with that.
Okay, cool. And you can get up, so you when you come up there, maybe get with those guys and stuff like that? Okay.
Ask Karen. I believe they've got some foster care applications. There's there's a little bit on their website, Charlevoix Area Humane Society.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, CharlevoixHumane.org.
Alrighty.
There's a tab that will link you to, just a really brief paragraph on foster care.
Well, there you have it. If you're interested in fostering a pet, get with the Charlevoix Area Humane Society or check out their website. And you can always check their Facebook. You can get a hold of Jesse. You can always contact me. We'll do what we can to help you out with that. And if you do follow through with it, just know that it's a little bit of a process and give it a little bit of time. Once again, I want to say thank you for coming on the program. I always appreciate that. It's very kind of you. I'm Damien Leist, Lake Charlevoix News and Parallel North. Have a good day.